wicked. Hey, so what have you guys always done this kind of like doing the retreats, doing the public speaking? Have you guys always been in that realm? Were you guys doing other things before?
So we actually met in personal growth and development back in 2013. So that's how we started our relationship. And then we turned it into a business.
So when I was 18, I got into real estate. So I got into real estate at 18. So, I basically loved the investment side of the game. I loved having rentals, properties, flips. And so I ended up getting my real estate license right out of high school, built that business. I started doing construction stuff, remodels, like rode the whole 2008, right? All the foreclosures, California. So kind of pivoted my business model. That's when I kind of to wake up. I realized, wow, our government has so much fraudulent crap going on when it came to the loan documents. Like that's when my mind really started to wake up. So I started reading documents, like people are getting loans for, millions of dollars. They're not even making $100,000 a year. It was crazy, the stuff that I read. That was when my red flag went off. And then
No, I swear they care about you, man.
They're not harvesting your energy?
No, not at all. Or your fear.
it's for your safety.
It's for your so you're good.
It's just like, legal loan sharks. Like,
Yeah, that really woke me up though. So I can definitely appreciate, the renovation business, doing all the crazy stuff with banks, asset managers, and then hired a coach, kind of changed my business model in real estate, got my broker's license, did that whole thing, and then hired a coach, Rhonda, who was just really successful. She's probably doing $25 million a year in real estate, and she's training, go take NLP trainings. And I realized like what I was wanting was what she had was like the way she managed people, led, communicated. She just had such a energy to her. She had 100 people in her organization, big company. And I went through, took all these trainings and just got my shit together, like got my life together. And I met this beautiful soul.
So we met in our level 2 in Vegas. So what I did before this, I was a stripper and a sex worker. I started doing that when I was 16. And I, was a classic story of, having no confidence. So I kept attracting the same thing over and again. And, the work we do is we help people change their language and start to value themselves and know that they are worthy. And so linguistically, I was casting a spell of everything I didn't want. Like I would say every day that I hated my life. And, I thought I was stuck in stripping and doing the sex work because I would say that I'm not smart enough to do anything else. I also would be in and out of abusive relationships, and I labeled myself this loser magnet, and I didn't understand why I kept attracting the same pattern. Little did I know that it was just a reflection of what I thought I deserved. And I also believed I was an addict, and I definitely did that really well, whether it be food, sex, drugs, alcohol, attention, in all the wrong places. And so when I got arrested, it wasn't the first time I got arrested, but I remember it really shook me to the core because this time it was in Vegas, and they put me in the regular population and gave me the orange jumpsuit and sitting in this, jail cell wearing women that some of them had murdered somebody and they're waiting to get, taken somewhere else. Some of them had accidentally did something really wrong, but I saw my destiny that like, this is going to be my life, or even worse, I'm not going to be on this planet any longer. And so I was really searching for something to take my power back and my life back. And I fell into personal growth. And to be honest, when you're in that hamster wheel of hell, I didn't even know what personal growth was. Like that was completely above my understanding of what was possible. And I fell into it. I mean, I know spirit was guiding me along the way, helping me make the right decisions, but I just kept showing up and, following the breadcrumbs. And a year later, after my first training, I met him. And so he helped me get out of the Vegas environment to really do the shadow work and the healing. So our journey actually started as a love story, really.
That's so sick. Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I fully do. I that's the thing that made me kind of pique my interest and made me interested in that, because I've kind of always been like this. I've been a very like black and white, everything has to be tangible. Everything has to be, something I can feel, touch, taste. And so when people told me like, oh, you can speak things into existence, I'd be like, yo, honestly, please stop. Like, I just was not interested.
Right.
it was never something that, I am your stereotypical, just like carpenter, like if I can't cut it in half, it's not real to me. That's the way that it works. And so
That's awesome.
there's always, it's I can't really even put my finger on it, whether it's books I've read or things I've heard in podcasts, or just experiencing it in my life, whether it's, telling myself an affirmation, not, and for me, that sounds, like I said, there's the negative connotation and like the woo woo kind of thing. But it's like just telling myself, like, as I'm driving and I get road rage, just like take a breath, man. You don't need to choose to be happy. Are you going to choose to just like be pissed off every day? Because you're going to be in traffic every day. So what? You're just going
Right.
to little things like that, or things that I write down, or, I've always been the thing that you said that resonated with me the most, Deborah, was like telling yourself, like, fuck, I'm such a loser. I'm mad. I'm always gonna be this way. Like, this is just how I am. I've said that shit to myself so many times. Like, I guess this is just how it's gonna be. I guess
Yep.
that's just how it's gonna be.
Yeah,
And
and you're not alone in that. So many people have said like that's I think one of the biggest things that I think is detrimental to our own health is what is the shit we say to ourselves, right? That
And there's bumper stickers
that
that
negative self-talk.
life sucks and then you die. That's like it's the same as like just don't expect anything. Right?
Life's hard.
It's hard. You suffer.
There's something like life's hard. Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Or something.
Right. We'll have fun. I don't know, but yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But that was like my motto. I was like, it gave me a badge of honor to be more victim consciousness, really. To be honest with you.
Oh, 100%.
So when did you start? Like, when did you start waking up? Like, when did this mindset stuff? Where'd you get that? It just didn't fall out of the sky, did it? Like, it sounds like your dad, when he built the family business, wasn't. Did he have that mentorship?
No, dude. I don't know really what happened, because, I was kind of, like I said, I was the classic kind of suburban kid kind of case, like just growing up, generalized anxiety, depression. I mean, there was not like too much trauma. There's just like the average person's trauma. There's nothing like outstanding that would like cause suicidal thoughts, or like self-harm or addiction. But those things end up happening, like I can't explain it. But I was like the classic case where, ADHD kid. My teachers were sending me home telling my mom, like, yo, you can't send your kid back without like a prescription kind of deal, like at like 7, 8 years old. And luckily, my mom's like a little bit of a hippie. So she's like, hell no, like that's not happening. Like, he's just being a young boy. That's how they behave. Like, you should see him at home. It's way worse. Like, it's like, and so when I was a teenager, I was going to bouncing around from doctor to doctor, taking like anti-anxiety medication, anti-depression medication, SSRIs, all those things. And then I kind of just like, I had a falling out with the medical industry. I remember there was like a doctor that I had where I basically said to her, like, I'm jumping from medication to medication. I'm dealing with like lack of appetite, or no libido, or high like more suicidal ideations. Like, I'm just jumping from medication to medication, and again, it was like, oh, okay, that's not working. Try for 6 to 8 weeks. Let's try a different one, over and over again. And then I remember having the conversation with the doctor, basically saying like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Like, I just kind of want to stop. So could you help me like safely wean off these? And he's like, that's not what I recommend you do, though. I want you to try a different medication. And I said,
Crazy.
yeah. And I said, dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to stop taking this medication. So are you going to help me safely do this? Or should I just drive my truck into a tree on my way home? Like, can you fucking help me, please? Like, that's literally what I said to him. And I know, like, yeah, it was just like I've never shared what I said exactly, but that's pretty much like to a T what I said to him. I'm like, dude, like, if you don't help me with this, it's not going to go great in my life. Like, please, can you just help me?
How old were you? What age were you? How old
18, 19. So this is like a decade ago.
It's so
It
crazy
is stuff.
because your mind is so young. Like our minds, especially for men, like our brains are still developing at like 24, 25, 12 years old.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm 40 and I still feel like I'm developing.
Yep. Start noticing a
So
pattern. You'll start noticing a pattern that whenever these drugs would come out, they would come out with a propaganda like, you are bipolar or you are ADHD or whatever. Because, like, in my time, it was first bipolar or it was ADHD. So, getting diagnosed with that, then being bipolar, depressed, generalized anxiety, Xanax. Like, so it on right before they're about to put out a new drug, which I was on all of it too. Like, I was on, the Prozac, the Wellbutrin, which of course you can't even have an orgasm on that. Like, you're totally neutral to the world, and and then you start identifying with it. And like, I have this ADHD and I am bipolar, and then it becomes an identity, right? I used to believe that I had generalized anxiety and that's why I was so messed up, right? So it's just fascinating. It's all propaganda. And then when you realize that it's a whole bunch of bed of lies that they're trying to sell you into your disenfranchisation so that they can drug you up and become a good worker, then you'd have the freedom. Because at least when I was going through all that, I didn't think I had a choice. You don't realize you have a choice.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest hypnosis is, like the doctor's like, I don't recommend that. Like, I can't tell you how many past clients have told us like stories like this, where it's like the doctors, our health professionals don't want us to get off of something that could literally be unhealthy because they don't even know. Right. And this is the work that we do.
They don't even know how it works.
Our work is like mental and emotional. And the reality is medical doctors don't have very much training in mental and emotional tools, processes, techniques. They just like, oh, go see a therapist, go see a psychotherapist, go see a shrink, a counselor.
Then puts you on more medication.
Which all they do is go right back to prescription meds. It's insanity. Insanity.
Well, the thing is, I did end up, I jumped from doctor to doctor. That was facilitated through my family doctor. And so I ended up just like kind of, I don't know what rebuking her. Is that what you'd say? Like, I just was like, yo, you're not my doctor anymore. And so, yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. And so I just went to a different I literally just went to the hospital. I was like, yo, do you guys have like a psych thing? Like a psych? And I go to this guy. I end up just like finding this doctor. Literally, it's the craziest story. And then it's this like old Indian dude. And he's like, I tell him, I'm like, yo, can I just talk to you, man? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not looking for medication, dude. Like, I just want help. Like, please. And he's like, all right. He writes down 2 like books, and he's like, take this and go read these books. And when you've done them, like, come back to me and then we'll talk more. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
I'm like, never read like a full book in my life. I was that classic kid of like ADHD. Dude. You think like, I think maybe I read 2 books before I was 26 in my life, like cover to cover. And he gave me those books. And so I went and read them, and there was just little cues around the way, along the way of like, I never thought I could do this, like finish a full book and that quickly, or like sit still. Like that was never a thing for me, like even I always joke and say like, if you watch my podcast on fast forward, I'm just like twitching and moving and, like I just can't do it. It was never that's an example right there. Like that's exactly how it works. Is like, you'd be like, oh, I just can't do it. It's not how I am.
And create the limitation, that false belief for sure.
Right.
And then but there was just kind of clues along the way of like, oh, that's not really real. Like you can actually change that. Exactly like what you just, like, and you find little ways to cope. Like I always, before I do a podcast, I always go for a run because then I can just like chill after. I've used all my physical energy. Like I just can just chill out, have a coffee and chat, which is like my favorite thing to do. Like,
awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome. I in the first training that I took, because I had a learning disability, right? And so I didn't think I could read or write. So it's so funny that you said the first time you ever read a book is when somebody recommended. So my first book was ever the 4 Agreements. And so up until I found NLP, I didn't think that I could read or write. I literally had, because I, just like you said, I was labeled, I stopped trying, and then it became I can't. And so when I went through the level 1, I almost didn't make it all the way through. That's another story. I bailed, and
And
then
you were like, what, 28, 27?
yeah, I was 20. No, I was going through Saturn. I was finishing Saturn Return
29.
29.
Yeah.
And yeah, because they were making everybody read out loud, which I had a lot of trauma, I guess, like small trauma around that. And so my thing was like, fuck you, this, I'm out of here. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not going to amount to anything. So I bailed. I went home. I called my drug dealer, and I got methamphetamine, and I smoked it, and I didn't show up the next day. And then they tracked me down and got me to come back to the training. I had this massive breakthrough, and that's when I quit all these drugs cold turkey, which most people would have to be hospitalized for how much I was taking. I was taking Xanax, Adderall, Oxycontin, Zolortab, smoking meth, and drinking about a fifth a day. And I had been doing something in my system for a good part of 13 to 16 years. But there wasn't a day that I didn't have something in my system. But I remember having the breakthrough after, because it was a 7-day container. I had this massive breakthrough, and then I actually could read. I had the confidence for the first time to even try and fail in front of people. I stood up and I read out loud. I stumbled over my words, but it was such a huge convincer. And I realized that all these, paradigms that I had created about myself that was driving me to stay in this industry because I didn't think I was smart enough to work at McDonald's. Like, it just broke through this whole level of limitations, and realizing that I can, and realizing that the school systems, and this is my point about it, the school systems are designed for one type of person, and people like you and me that are different type of learners, that we are maybe experiential type of learners, and which are entrepreneurs, and Brandon as well, entrepreneur mind. He technically would be labeled as ADHD because he has thoughts all the time, like it's nonstop, but that's what creates the genius. And school wants you to be a very, very well-rounded worker bee that's going to be focused for a long time. And that's why they drug people up on Adderall. And then they say everything that's not that is something wrong with you. You're broken. And so we got to drug you up. And so that was a huge breakthrough for me. And realizing that I was intelligence, I was just using a different strategy.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, I can tell that we're kind of in the same, wavelength, all of us, in terms of conspiracies and such. But I've always thought that they know about this idea that words have power, and that you said earlier, it can cast spells or something like that. I do believe, honestly, like, I think that they know that, and that's why they label things. And I say you can pick whatever you like, but I'm just saying, there is a reason why, like, I think, take ADHD, for example. You label ADHD, like, you make that label ADHD. And what are you actually labeling? It's like, they can't sit still. They have high energy. And the staple thing that people always say, the other one is, they can't focus on anything unless it's something that they love. And then
Exactly.
if you look at like any successful person, you look at any successful person in any industry across everything, what do? Hyper focus on what they love. Exactly. So it's like, wait, did you just take like the key to success and then demonize it with a label and say we have to medicate for that? What are you doing? Like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely insane. And the only, like, no, for real, like, it's,
no, you're so right. It's so right. And we like create these labels like it's some kind of a illusionary package, and then we go sell it. We get people to buy this bullshit. And we get people to take a pill for it and go see this counselor, go do that doctor, go see this specialist. Like, what? Like, it's an illusion. Like, there's this fucking box, and there are labels on the outside of these fake boxes, and then people believe they have this diagnosis. And the reality is they just don't know themselves.
We call it the white coat hypnotist, because anytime there's an authority figure that diagnoses something, then it goes straight into the belief systems as an identity.
Well, 2020 didn't wake us up.
Right.
I don't know what is. Like,
yeah, no,
really,
for real.
like 2020, like, good Lord. What a year.
Trust me, it's bad. It was bad here where I live. Like, pretty much the entire country, like, of Canada was like the state of California. We're basically the state of California, honestly. If you
Wild, right?
if you just move it up north, it's Canada. Like, the politics are identical. I literally, dude, I just saw and I know this is probably like maybe more in the news for you guys, and then we'll get back to what I was just saying, but I think you guys would find this funny. I saw a protest going on in Vancouver, an anti-ice protest. I go,
Interesting.
we don't even have ice in this country. What the what?
That's fucking hilarious.
And I'm like, I literally, I have just, I've started to use social media a lot differently now, and I just love, I'm back in on trolling 100%, but I'm in on every comment section now, and I just comment on this. I'm like, yo, our Canadian government is way more of a threat to us as everyday citizens than ICE. I've never seen an ICE agent in my life. I don't pay them 60% of my tax, or 60% of my income,
That's so funny. That's so funny that like they're trying to rile you up on social media in a country that a matter doesn't matter.
Oh, but you know what? That is what I was going to say. That is what the news is shit that doesn't matter. That is exactly, that's their bread and butter. I try and tell people this all the time, man. I am so, anti, like, it's just government propaganda slop. It's even worse, but trust me, like it is, well, it's pretty bad in America, but I would like to argue that it's worse here because, well, I don't know.
You guys have the pharmaceutical commercials? I've heard Canada
Here's the thing. What we do sometimes, it depends because a lot of the channels we watch are just American channels. So like if the law is just that Canadian channels can't do it, but like
then the US comes in with their media companies.
Like, are you gonna where do you think we watch our UFC or our football or our like it's
Yeah, it's true.
so it's usually American channels. It's so there's that. But there is very weird media laws here in Canada where like TV providers have to play a certain amount of Canadian content. It is like such government slop here. If you actually look into it, it's so insane. But the only thing I would say is the difference is they're very open about it here to the point where it's just normalized. It's very Orwellian if you talk to people that are older because they just don't really understand it. But it's like literally the only monopoly news provider is called the CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Company. Like it's literally a segment of the government. And you're like, do you think they're ever going to tell you anything of the truth? Like, do you ever think that? Or like if you were the government, how would you operate? Would you tell people, hey, we're stealing your money here. This is how they stole your money before, but trust us, bro. That's pretty much what the government always says. Like, it's like, but trust us, bro. Like, it's just like, but at least they're honest about it here, I'd say. But like in America, it's different because they lie about it.
Well, they give you the illusion of freedom here.
Yeah.
Freedom. I mean, like I love living in this country because we do have freedom, but it's a paradox. It's like we feel like we're freer than we really are.
At what cost?
And we feel like we have democracy in the way that we have this fantastic ideology around what that means. But yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, at least in Canada, they're being honest about the corruption.
That's what I mean. Yeah, there's no freedom of speech law. We have hate speech laws. We've had them for years. Not that I want to go around calling people things, but it's just like,
Right.
Again, it is. There's no illusion. You just like no. You cannot say what you think, no matter what. You can't even make jokes about it. To be honest, that's how.
So how do you not get into trouble having these conversations?
I don't know. I've probably been shadow banned to the depths at this point, but but like I said, it's a hobby. Like the thing is, like I go for runs, right? And I was thinking about that this morning. I go for runs, right? I don't think I'm ever going to be paid for running, but I like to do it. So I still do it. I do it regularly. And that's the way I feel about podcasting is like, it's something I like to do. These are legitimately the way these are my thoughts. This is how I feel. So if people vibe with it, they vibe with it. If they don't, then so be it. It is what it is. And like, there's been times where these types of things come up with customers, and I'm just like, dude, I don't care. I love everybody. So like, if you think differently, that's fine. I don't care. It
Right.
doesn't upset me. I like, and I don't understand why that'd be relevant to me fixing your house. So like, it just
Exactly.
so it just doesn't really matter. There was only one time during the pandemic where somebody asked me to leave because I wasn't wearing a mask, and most people would just be like, here's the keys, and then they'd go away and they didn't care. But,
Right.
Yeah.
you lose one customer for being who you are in a couple of years, so be it. It is what it is.
Yeah. That
It's
doesn't matter.
like,
Well,
you're going to lose customers kissing ass. So,
yeah, everybody's entitled to their perspective. I mean, there's so many people that disagree with the way that we think, and that's okay too. It's like we are entitled to our own vision of what is happening, right?
yeah.
So it's fascinating. That we went through this, I don't know what you would call a quote unquote awakening. So some of our mentors kind of showed us underneath the veil back in 2013, and we knew that COVID was going to happen before it happened, if that makes sense. It was kind of like predicted in terms.
Because they went down their conspiracy stuff so much, it was like there's events happening
Yeah.
to divide the way we think and to change the narrative for propaganda, for news.
Right. There's patterns.
And so it was very much like
All you had to do was listen to Bill Gates talk. He literally said,
Exactly.
the dude literally said it. Like, you can say things like population agendas and like population decline, all the crazy stuff, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
they even, there was some stuff that came out in the recent file drop that points towards like them. I think they called it maybe social conditioning or compliance testing. That's what they were talking about.
Compliant.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
they,
Written down that. Go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, I was just tagging on to what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, so we went down that rabbit hole. So we bought a ranch in Texas, and we're like, we're gonna prep, and we're gonna like have all the, like the safety and security if cancel clearly, where World War III happens and all this stuff. And then we realized that,
They're like, this shit's not gonna happen.
I'm like, well, if it does, it like for us, it's like, what are we focusing on? Because we know in the work that we do is that, and this is quantum physics, what you perceive in reality, you will manifest more of it, right? That's the law of attraction. And so what you're focusing on, so we're like focusing on like fighting this thing. And yes,
Anti that.
I'm super
fight this.
grateful for people that this is their job, like to wake people up in that sense. But I feel like where we're at right now is we're helping people clear the trauma and the dramas and the baggages, and to be able to think critically for themselves, because I think that we've been hypnotized into not thinking. And so that once we get a healthy population of human beings that are healthy, vibrant, fully actualized in what they're supposed to be doing, that are thinking critically, then the masses as a grassroots society can make the right decision for us as humanity, as brothers and sisters, that we're all part of this thing instead of being attacking each other and othering each other. It's just really easy to get into that dichotomous thinking of like, we're awake, you're not awake, all this shit, because that's just perpetuating the same freaking pattern that whoever they are, and that's still othering because that's putting them outside ourselves, right? Are doing to us. And so that's one of the things that we focus, we like get in and we look at what's going on, because I think it's important to kind of figure out what's going on in the matrix. And then for us personally, where we are right now is, okay, so what are we doing to build something that's going to change the world that matters? And when people start
better,
because the systems are coming down astrologically, like what's happening in the next 20 years of all the stuff that's going to be coming out with truths and all the things are going to be crumbling. People are going to be looking for a new paradigm, right? In the health system and the financial system and education, all of that is falling apart on its own. We don't have to do anything. What we're focused on is building something that's going to be of value to humanity and being in right relationship with the planet, because we've definitely not been in a good relationship with the planet either. So that's kind of where we're at in our thinking. Because again, where you focus manifest in reality.
It's like that Buckminster, the Buckminster quote. He was like, don't try to fight the system, build a better system,
the bridge.
build something else and they'll come they'll just leave the old and come to the new. And I really think that's happening.
Yeah.
Like we can feel it, right? We feel it in all these countries. It's not just Canada and the US, right? It's all around the world. And we've got, people that are like truly just getting more conscious and like asking more questions. Be like, oh, this is like maybe critical thinking is coming back online. And I definitely think there's a frequency and an energy to it.
Oh, yeah.
Astrologically, like it's fascinating. I don't know if you're into astrology, but astrology is spot on. Like a great way to explain astrology is we've got the moon and right, you want to go fishing, you check the tide booklet, right? High tide, low tide.
I don't. I just go, dude. I'm an idiot. Whenever I could get time off. No, but I get what you're saying. I
You know what I mean?
totally,
Like,
yes.
like the moon definitely has an effect on our system, right? Like we have full moon, right? And animal patterns, right? For hunting and things like that I'm into. And so why do we think that other planets don't have the same effects as the moon? And so when you start to really look at like these patterns astrologically, it's like, wow, this stuff is actually like really accurate. Like they do launches. There's a lot of billionaires that have done launches to launch new products, new services on very specific keen dates where like energy type vortexes are open.
Yeah.
Did you know this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I always notice that like certain events, the dates always line up.
Oh, yeah.
The
Numerology.
numerology is part of that. Yeah, you
Wow.
got numerology, you got some astrology, you got symbology. Look at all the symbols. Look at all the logos of companies, right?
And locations, like certain states seem to have like very like tragic events happen very frequently in certain states.
Very weird events, right?
Exactly.
11, great example.
Yeah, or any of like yes, and like it seems to be like all these events that are in certain locations. There's obviously an astrological like
Yeah.
either that or the illusion of,
Right.
and so it's not something I'm like super well versed in. I'm not even gonna lie, but again, it's only because my best buddy is super into it, and that's why we're best buddies. Because I come from the world of like tangible black and white, and he is the total gray area dude, and so that's why, yeah. And we, so I've had the conversations. I'm not well versed in it, but I do think it's real. It's just not something that I like find myself reading about, interested about. It is something though that I forget what I was going to say, but I do think that I'd rather, like you said, I think that, when we find ourselves, you were talking about othering other people. And I think that when we find ourselves feeling yourself superior to anyone else, like you're kind of lost the plot right off the bat. And I think like every religion is like there is that version of it. There's
Sure.
every like spiritual path. There's the people that are the holier than thou, oh, you do that. Oh, you do that. Oh, I would never do that. Exactly. And then there's like,
Right.
and then there's like the people that are like, oh, you stopped doing that thing that was harming you? Like, congratulations. They're not looking at oh, you still smoke cigarettes. Oh, you don't. They're going to congratulate you on every single positive step along the way. They're not going to point out your flaws. And then there's going to be, there's going to be so many different,
Right.
but at the end of the day, I like what you said, because I think the gist of it is like, I'd rather fight for a good cause than fight against a bad thing. Like, I'd rather just do my own thing, encourage other people, empower other people. Because going back to the labeling thing, I think a lot of the things, even like the generalized anxiety, the depression, the ADHD, the other thing I was going to say that kind of helped wake me up was, I think a lot of those things are kind of just they create that label and mask it as that. But really what it is kind of a lack of skill in a certain area of life, like a lack of discipline or a lack of, and so like we, even just overcoming like a hard thing, like discipline, or I don't know how you'd want to, yeah, resilience. I was going to say, I don't know how you'd want to describe that, but just kind of proving to yourself, oh, I've gone through something like this before. I can get through this. I don't have to worry about next week. I don't have to worry about next month. Just right now, fight this fight. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, whether it's a big thing or a small thing, just like kind of telling yourself, because I think a lot of the times we tell ourselves these labels or these things about ourselves and create these labels. And we think, oh, like we were saying earlier, this is how I have always been. But it really is just like a lack of a skill, like to be able to sit still or to be able to feel a negative emotion and just feel it and just be like, yeah, dude, it sucks. This is how I feel right now. Why do I feel this way? And what can I do about it? Is there something I can change about this? Like to get yourself into that pattern of thinking as opposed to just like, hey, this sucks. Is anyone going to help me with it? I'm in pain. I'm hurting. Is anyone going to help me? Like it's just
Yeah. Well, and to your effect too, like you don't really need trauma. Like I think all these people think, I don't have trauma, but like the reality is, here's what we've seen in this work. If you have a lineage and you have a mom and a dad, and they have a mom and a dad, and they have a mom and a dad, we have generations of stuff, baggage, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. We have so much baggage. Like people don't think about this because they think, oh, I don't have big T trauma, right? I wasn't abused or whatever, good parents, good home. That's kind of like me. I mean, I was held back in the second grade with my twin sister. That created a little bit of, like a chip on the shoulder. I wouldn't call it trauma for me. I think a therapist might. I look
if they're in Canada, maybe.
if they're in Canada. Yeah. Poor you.
Here too.
Yeah.
They just cry with you.
Yeah. There's a lot of that here too, right? But it's like, I think we don't realize the generational stuff we hold, right? Like, I mean, imagine, just the last 500 to 800 years, like the growth of what we've gone through as, a planet, coming from Europe, migrating over here, whether you're first generation, right? French, Canadian, whatever. It's like, there's still so much baggage that's in us. It's passed down from DNA, from cells. Like it is a lineage thing. And so I think it's fascinating because the work we've done with hypnosis and, different techniques around, neuro-linguistic programming, it's like you can dive into somebody's subconscious and realize like, oh, this stuff isn't even ours. Like this is like, you can get somebody in a relaxed state. They can go back 6, 7 generations and be like, oh my God, there's some memory of like my great, 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 great grandfather or grandmother. And people like go, this isn't even my anger. This isn't even my hatred or whatever. And so it's fascinating that people think you have to have it happen in this lifetime. And the reality is you don't. Right. And then they get hopped up on medication, similar story to you. They don't even know why they're on it. And then they're like, geez, just get me off this stuff. Right.
Right. And all of this is proven through the science of epigenetics, right? It talks about how environmental situations, meaning if there's a traumatic event, it can be internal trauma, but external trauma causes it. Epigenetically, it changes the readout of the DNA. And so, according to this body of knowledge, is that 97% of what your gene readout is environmental. It's not who you are, and you can change it.
You know how like,
the thing is you can go back and clear it. Yes.
Did you know that like
slipped in
the genes? See, that's what we've always been told.
Right.
Doctors will be like,
You're stuck
just
with your
genes. It's who you are. Take this pill. See you later.
No, your genes are adapting at all times based upon your internal and external environment. So if an ancestor goes through genocide or trauma, certain things are going to be affected in the DNA readout. And then you will then get the readout. Your genes are prone to this, blah, blah, blah.
That's what we've been sold.
That's what's being sold. So then they can pharmaceuticalize you.
The real problem is the doctors have been sold that.
But they don't even know any better.
The Dr. Bruce Lipton, he wrote a book, Biology Belief.
Mm-hmm.
And he realized that he had been teaching, like he was a Stanford medical professor, right? He'd been teaching all these young guys medicine, and he realized he was the problem. And he realized that he's like, your genes don't control who you are, your environment of your genes, which makes so much sense, right? If you're a traumatic environment, your genes are probably going to pick up some trauma.
It was during the time where like they were like coming into understanding genes, and then it became basically attack on genes, just like anything else. And so like they were having the science that were proving that this is not, in fact, like you are stuck with these genes forever, that you actually can change it. And basically it got hijacked by the pharma.
There's all kinds of like mouse studies and rat studies. Yeah. Like there's mice.
Just the genes. It's emotional too.
There's mice that they have in a little cage. And if they walked on this little spot, it would like give a stimulus shock to an adult mouse. And as soon as they would smell the cherry blossom, it would shock them. Just a little stimulus. Well, that same mama mouse gave generations like 6, 7 pups later. they would just put a cherry blossom, and then the little babies would flinch as if they were shocked. But there was no electrical stimulation.
And bees are the same way thing.
Which for us, the scent of smell is one of our most powerful senses, right? And so when we look at our visual, auditory, olfactory is gustatory taste, olfactory smell, thinking, that AD is our auditory digital. That's the self-talk. So like that, if you think about it, like our environment controls what we see, how we think, the way we feel. So it's like, if you're in this heightened sense of awareness, it's going to have an impingement on your nervous system.
So then when you go to, like, for an example, people think that alcoholism is passed down. Yeah, in some ways. But what if that person had shock or trauma that then created this adapting mechanism of numbing, right? That then got passed down through oral tradition, modeling as well.
Stories, really.
Right. And so we believe that you can change any of that. You have the power.
I don't believe like alcoholism is a disease. People think it's a disease. Like, well, what if great-great-great-grandfather had a major trauma? He started drinking to cope with it because that's all they had.
It's numbing, at least from my perspective.
And then what happens is, we get together. It's like, Mark, I need you to know all the men in our family, the problems that we have.
Health issues.
So dad tells the story that grandpa told him, and grandpa tells the story that great-grandpa said, right? Before you know it, you just got this like, it's like a hunting story at moose camp. You're like, it's been embellished. It's like fish story, right? You're like,
well, yeah.
This big.
It started out like it was a chicken and it became like a dinosaur. You're like, what is going on here?
Yeah. But we believe that unless people have done belief change work, that they're running around with 100% not their own belief systems. Because what happens is that, you could, like, let's say that mom and dad have a belief system, and so maybe you adopt it completely, right? Or the tendency is to reject all of that completely and go a different way, but you're still being controlled by that old system.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah, I've lived both sides of that. I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think that is 100%. And I think that more and more, actually, I wouldn't even say, like, I think for sure parents have that effect. I wouldn't even say that as much anymore, because I think more and more, maybe at least kids these days, are like, they're not even being raised by their parents. They see their parents for what, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day?
Yeah.
If that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of them, like, maybe it's like not even both their parents. Maybe it's like, I see dad on weekends. I see,
split home, whatever.
Right. Like, I'm not saying that's the majority of people, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the belief systems. Where are they coming from? And why do we just allow these, like
teachers? They're coming from teachers for sure.
Yeah, maybe. Or social media, I think. Netflix, maybe. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah. Like YouTube.
Is it movies? We don't realize, man. Movies.
A lot of trauma relates with movies.
Movies install so much stuff.
Because you're in trance.
100%.
You're in hypnosis.
And a lot of people don't realize, like, but some of the Disney movies, like, they're installing some pretty messed up stories.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Children's minds, right? Scarcity, death, like all kinds of weird things.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of weird shit.
Yeah. I am very so that's kind of like more what I was actually I wanted to say earlier is, like, in the last year, and I'm not sure what it was, whether it's just like kind of noticing a little bit more about my own personal patterns, or whether I've heard it somewhere, or but something clicked recently where I've just become a lot more intentional with what I watch and what I listen to, and what I say. And when I hear other people, it kind of triggers me, because there's the side of us where we're like, I hate that about myself, so it triggers me in other people. So when I hear other people do it, I'm like, yo, don't say that, dude. Don't say that about yourself. Don't fucking say that about someone I love, man. And then I get mad. But
because it's literal. The unconscious mind thinks it's like you're talking to yourself. If like I say, that guy's an asshole, then I'm really just talking to myself. Like,
right.
The unconscious mind's like, you're speaking whatever you speak and cast these. That's why we call it spells. That's why.
Yeah. Like, you can't give him grace because you don't think you deserve grace, right? Like, that's what it is.
Language is so important. You're right. Language is so important. We need to speak a different language right now.
Yeah, and just being more intentional with what we ingest. Like when we, everyone wants to talk about, oh, I don't eat paraben free or whatever, DDT free. I don't know what the glyphosates. That's the thing I'm trying to think of. It's like I eat all this. I don't eat any of this stuff. I shop at Whole Foods. I have the cleanest diet. And then they're watching like reality TV, or they're watching like fucking horror movies, or I don't know. Like I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I'm just trying to say like something that like makes you kind of it normalizes gossiping and negativity and like and all these things that aren't conducive. Yes, normalizing that.
It's either drugs, sex. It's like, and it's not in a healthy way, right? It's like it's abusing it. It's always abusing, or someone being abused by the violence, the sex, the drugs, the gangster, whatever. Right?
And I think at least in young men, I think. And maybe even young men I think maybe just men. I think that there's kind of been this huge push in the last like couple of years just to raise awareness of how like damaging porn is, not just to like the victims of people, because literally you can't even be in a video on the internet like that without being like, that's someone who's going through trauma literally right now. Sure. And you're seeking enjoyment on it. Like it's kind of fucked up. And then there's like it also melts your dopamine system, your attention span, the way you treat your partner, like what you're looking for in a partner, how you treat your sisters or your mom, the way you view women, or vice versa. I'm speaking from a men's perspective because that's what I see on my algorithm is like there is kind of this big push for this. I guess there's a segment of like anti-porn guys, and I get it on my algorithm at least. But I think that we need to kind of spread that to the rest of it, and just like really just the whole movement should just be, why are we like so unintentional with what we're watching? And why are we like consistently watching these rituals where people scream at each other and we're like, oh, that's just how couples talk to each other. That's how all my people on my reality shows, they're sleeping with each other, screaming at each other the next day. Like there's just, it normalizes all these weird, perverse human interactions. And like it's just a different flavor for a different palate. That's all it is. Right?
You're right. People they focus on what they eat and the clean food, organic, healthy, grass-fed, all this stuff, right? And then they forget about like what they turn on the TV or what kind of podcasts they're listening to, like clean information.
Or what they listen to. Like I used to listen to gangster rap, right? All the time. And I still do. I just have to be intentional about it. Like because I like the gangster rap now. The gangster rap I like is like the whole like yay vibe of like, can't tell me nothing. I'm doing me. I'm going to get it. Like, I'm going to chase my dreams. I'm doing my shit. Like, I just can't listen to the whole, like, doing drugs and like, sleeping with a million people. I can't listen to it anymore. It's a part of me I've had to, like, forcefully, like, get rid of. And so, like, it's like, I feel, and just listening to it, I don't know. I can only speak for myself. Maybe I'm very, very impressionable. But, like, I just feel myself getting back into that brainwave of like, oh, this is kind of acceptable, and then just like slowly maybe I might want it, and then I'm like, yo, wait, what the fuck? No, this isn't who I am. Like, what? I have to like literally intentionally be like, dude, I can't do this. Like, I gotta listen to something that puts me in a mindset of what I want to be in right now. Like,
music shaped our generation. I mean, music shaped our society.
All kinds of
right. If you think,
and I identified with like the hooker, right? And I became a hooker, right?
Yeah.
And my favorite movie was Pretty Woman. Whoa.
Yeah,
like in like the whole NWA movement in the 90s, like that shaped,
dude. Yes,
so much. I mean, I'm 40, very much remember.
It was probably shaped by the CIA, maybe.
It very much was. Okay, cool. Okay, good.
From my perspective.
Okay, good.
We're on the studio outlawed because, like, I feel like in a culture that has freedom as a value, like those are a taste of life if you want to experience that. But it really comes down from my perspective as education, educating people to realize that when you get on social media or you listening to music or you pop on a movie, you go into trance and everything is downloaded into your unconscious mind. even if you're becoming consciously aware of it. So know that you are going to be vibrating at that. You're going to attract more of that. And so what people don't realize that. And so once you understand that, it's an easy thing. And I personally, I don't want to plug into anything that doesn't make me, when I leave that session of watching whatever, if I get into fear and think the world's going to end, I'm not going to fucking do it. I only want to focus on things that are saying we are going to like transform the world. Humanity is doing well. We're going to have all the abundance that we possibly can, fun, pleasure, play, like all the good stuff, doing the work, like being kind to each other. And
we like canceled our
Netflix because it's garbage.
A year because it's just like I'm like scrolling to have a Friday night movie, Saturday night movie.
Right.
And like there's some good documentaries that are really cool, like 14 Peaks with Persia.
Yeah.
If you've read,
yeah.
Have you seen that guy?
I've seen the documentary.
So good.
Fucking incredible movie, or incredible. Like the way he built it, right? Just the way he just cinema, period.
Where was he from? Sri Lanka or where was he?
Nepalese.
He was from
Kathmandu.
Nepal.
Right.
Fucking badass.
14 8,000-meter peaks. Set out to climb them in 7 months. Like the dude just
Prime TV, everything on Prime TV. So
he's a billy goat. Yeah, so Gaia, we watch Gaia TV because we want to hear more about the spirituality of the planet and the flower of life and how
consciousness.
We got back to Egypt. We went to Egypt twice last year.
Yeah,
we got back to Egypt in December.
So we take tours there.
And like, dude, Egypt is magical. And you want to go down conspiracy theories, like the whole thing of like how people think Egypt is only like 5, 6.
Oh, that's another conspiracy.
Maybe 7,000 years old. Like
who thinks that?
Like mainstream archaeology.
I know.
Like peer review archaeology and the academia. Like
it's another box that they put in, just like the medical.
Dude, I just went up and like I touched the pyramids and I was like, this shit's ancient.
Yeah.
Like I had a feeling of just energy.
Evidence that it's like it predates the Younger Dryas, which is the biblical flood that every ancient tradition around the world all talks about, that we had massive catastrophes on the planet.
10 to 12,000 years ago, give or take. Like,
and there's watermarks on the
walls.
Like, yeah. So
I'm huge. Yeah, I'm huge into all that, dude. I 100%. Yeah, I never been there, but I definitely
come with us.
Come with us. We're gonna go in December again, dude. We do a luxury retreat, and part of it's on this beautiful sailboat, but part of it's at this farm to table amazing resort.
And we're renting out the spaces.
And what we do that's different, nobody else does this, is if you go buy a ticket, the tickets are cheap. You can go get a $6 to $30 ticket to go see any of these temples, but then you're just flooded with tourists. Like there's people everywhere.
You're not allowed to pray or connect either.
You can't do anything. So we do private tours.
Yeah.
You got to pay to play.
Yes, so
book it out. You do 2 to 4 hours, but you've got this entire fucking place to yourself. Like Great Pyramid to ourselves. Crazy. Group of anywhere between 12 to 16 people. So it's like, we can bring in the sound bowls, we can chant, we can meditate, we can do really cool stuff to connect with the energy that's there, because I think we're remembering through these practices, rituals, and just experiences, we're trying to remember who we are. And that's our whole destiny on this planet, is remember who the fuck you are. And the only way you can is if you go connect with a thread of what's going on in our ancient past. And I connected very much to Osiris. And incredible, dude. Like Osiris was a farmer. My whole family has been farmers on both sides. Like it's just fascinating how we all, I believe, every single one of us on this planet right now, there's some thread as to why we're here that really traces back to like ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, Maya, Peru, possibly Hawaii with the Mu, like Atlantis. Like it's who we all do. If we choose to tap into that, I think it's a fascinating place to get curious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I am all in on those types of those ideas. I definitely believe that, I think that honestly, most textbooks are lies. I think that that's just pretty much how it works. I think there's, I believe novels more than I believe textbooks. I read a lot of like dystopian novels, and most of the main ones that, people would point out kind of spell it all out. You know, whether you read Chuck Palahniuk or you read Orwell, or, you know, you pick out any of your favorite, you know, in Orwell, that was the first time I actually heard it in words when the main character gets kind of confronted by the guy that's like the secret Big Brother guy, but he's still luring him in. And so he goes in thinking like, oh, I'm going to join this secret resistance. And it's really just like it's actually how they snuff out secret resistance. But the guy brings out the book, and the book basically outlines the plan of Big Brother. And he'll say like it'll say things like, "Oh, every 5 years we change like our military." Like you know, who we're fighting against. We'll say, you know, after 5 years, we'll say we've always been allied with Asia and we've always been at war with Europa. And then after like 6 years, they switch and go, we've always been allied with Europa. We've always been against these people. Like they like I believe
wars.
that's
Conflict 100%.
well, and it's just all like, you know, they have the Ministry of Truth rewriting history because certain things don't align or will disprove the things. And I believe more, you know, like I said, I believe novels more than I believe textbooks. And I
You
think
don't
that
believe Columbus sailed the ocean blue? Like, how do you not believe this, Mark? What's wrong with you?
I don't even know why that'd be relevant to me. I'm so I don't I am so
It's so funny how we're like, oh yeah, Columbus, he founded North America.
yeah, maybe.
Just mentioned that people were here.
It's the most
way before
garbage
that.
story ever
But,
written.
yeah.
Yeah.
Propaganda.
100%. Yeah, that for sure. That is the funniest thing ever. But I don't we don't like I think that we're kind of lied to about what we are. And you said who we are. I would even go further into say is like what we are. I think that like this idea that we can just like live in a box and then
Right.
just like kind of like do the same things every single day and then have like this illusion. And again, we have this illusion, especially like in Canada. It's a very different kind of mindset, and I guess I could summarize it quickly by just saying like, the government handles a lot of our shit. You know, like we have like public health care and like insurance. I don't have to think about who I buy my insurance from, right?
Right.
It's supplied by the government. I have to buy it through them. The
Yeah.
same, you know, my car insurance is ICBC. That's the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia. That's the province I live in.
Do you
There's
guys all have the same insurance?
in my province, that's the only provider.
Oh,
Do you know who I buy my electricity from? BC Hydro, British Columbia Hydro. And do you know who I buy my natural gas from? Fortis BC. Like it's all provided by the government. So it's a very different mindset here in that way where it's very easy to live on autopilot. You know what I mean? You don't have to
Sure.
think about a lot of shit. If you get injured, you're not checking prices of you go to the hospital and you just see a doctor, you give them your little fucking driver's license card, and it's so easy to live on autopilot here.
I feel like Canada too is like, and I mean, the general kind of propaganda is keeping you in the anxiety and the negative emotions and the low frequencies because that's a docile society.
Do you know what my postulation is that what we are?
What did you say? Sorry, your what sign?
Postulation.
Postulation.
My postulation of what we are.
I just didn't really. Yeah, okay. I heard you. I just didn't know that word. I had to think about what you were saying. But sorry, go ahead.
Postulate.
So there's a postulation based upon like ancient texts. I mean, if you look all the way back to the Numalish and looking at the different texts of the Egyptian Tiamat Tepi and Atlantis, that we are gods in potential. We come to this reality to grow and awaken ourselves, to grow our souls. And it's not happening to us. It's happening for us, by us. Right. Except for we just forget that.
Because our DNA,
forget our remembrance, and we forget our divinity.
Our DNA was spliced.
Yeah.
And
200,000 years ago.
It was spliced such a long time ago that it was like, number one, it was to forget. And number two, it was to live shorter lives.
The thing, and this is another crazy idea too, there also was a worship type of gene, according to some of the people that I follow, that was put into our DNA to look outside ourselves, to then play the game of mirrors to find our
guru.
Well, and also find our divinity in other people to reflect back what's already currently inside.
All of those things are biblical themes. All of those things are in the Bible.
Right.
And that
Right.
even so, like down to, like literally to a T. The first two were very obvious. Like
Even like stories all
the
around.
knowledge and the shortened lives. Like Noah was like 900 years old.
Right.
But the second thing you said, the gene of worshiping, like this idea, like the entire time of like, oh wow, God just saved me from this like 400 years of slavery. Better go pray to a golden calf. You know what I mean? Like it's like the entire story of the Bible is that of like consistently worshiping false gods and looking for. So I just learned this fun fact, and I don't know how you guys feel about the Bible or whatever, but I like to call myself a follower of Christ, not a Christian. I don't like churchianity. I like Christianity, and so this is an interesting thing. I think you guys are gonna like. So there's the part of there's a King Saul basically. So after they're freed from the Egyptians, the slavery, they go out into the wilderness, right? And the entire time they're praying to golden calves, like I joked about. And then there's like this section where they're like, "Hey, we want a king. We need a leader." And then God's like, yo, trust me, you don't want a king, dude. You guys aren't fit to rule over each other. Like, it's not the way that it works. You don't need to, like, have a leader. You're supposed to just, like, cooperate and, like, love thy neighbor. Guys, can you get it? Can you get the point? And they go, no, no, no. We want a king, dude. We want one. And he goes, dude, okay, you can't have one. But if you are going to have one, you should have one, and he should follow these rules. He shouldn't gather horses, so he can't have an army. He shouldn't gather gold, so he can't like have corruption and abuse people. And he shouldn't have multiple wives. That's kind of like, I think that's basically the way that it works. And so they get this king named Saul. And what does he do? Gets rich, gets a bunch of horses, gets a bunch of wives, starts making a bunch of kids.
Opposite direction.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason I thought this was so cool was I think the Hebrew word for like Saul translates into English as like what you desire, like what you want, like what you're asking for. And the idea behind it is like, you fucking idiots begged for a king, not understanding that you're literally like, I just freed you from this corruption. When you're begging for it,
Like, see, that's the thing. We've done this so many times.
So many times.
We've done it thousands and thousands and thousands of times, right? We just keep coming back.
Yeah.
Like, I totally believe in Christ consciousness.
Yeah, both of us do.
Right? I don't call myself a Christian.
And we're going to pilgrimage to go to the Magdalene cave.
But I think the church and the religions all have a really beautiful foundation. I think where it gets
a lot of the
stood
books
up
were taken out
and
though.
manipulated. Like you said, it gets all churchy, right? And then you start
Well, it's been used as a way to control.
tithing, and then there's fear, and then there's shame.
confession.
Right.
Confession was the original CIA, dude. We don't need to gather your data. Just come and tell us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we know what's going on in the town.
Exactly. And in the Nag Hammadi, which is the actual scripture of how Jesus lived his life, and it gives accounts of all the good stuff that they left out of the Bible. They had to throw it into a cave and hide it because, the religious structures didn't want that in there, saying that you are God. Like he talks about it.
God's a potential.
The
God's
book
potential.
of Thomas is Thomas or Philip. He says, truly, truly, you will do more than I have ever done. And anytime in Aramaic you hear truly, truly, or something like that, where it's repeated twice, it means it's really important. He's telling you that you are God and I'm a reflection of you. Right. And so it's
and in our
fascinating.
DNA, what did Greg Braden find? The divinity?
Oh, yeah. So if you map over the DNA, so gematria is like the code and language and letters. And so if you map over the Hebrew letters to our DNA.
Like the whole double helix sequence, right?
Right. So the readout of it, what it says in Hebrew.
We like decoded it, like what it meant. It was divinity.
He said God eternal in the body, God eternal in the body, God eternal in the body. That's what it says in our DNA.
Yeah.
Literally.
So it's like we are God's potential. I like, because like if you once you know who you are, you realize what we are.
Right.
And what we are is more powerful than we think. Way more powerful beyond this.
From an ego perspective.
Yeah.
Either like, I have the power to think
I am God.
I'm better than all
How many places in the Bible is like the God in you is the God in me. The God in me is
as above, so below.
Right? As above, so below. That which is below is that which is above. And so there's all of this it's really, it's equality, it's unity, it's togetherness. Like, it's not trying to say that God is over this people, right? It's in us all. And I think
Yeah.
that's what is important to understand about that. Like, the Bible has great stories, incredible parables. A lot of them real. I think a lot of them were in other types of countries too, like Egypt and other places. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that quote, I can't remember, I think it's Miyamoto Musashi, where it's like, once you see the way in one thing, you can see it in all things. You know what I mean? Like, once you learn how to get good at something, you're like, oh, I can just apply this idea at anything else.
Everything.
And it's kind of the exact same thing. Like, I don't think the Christ consciousness thing is something I go back and forth on, but I will align with it. I just don't like a lot of the things that are associated with it. I was very against a lot of this woo-woo stuff, but I'm in on it now. But I just like incognito.
Tell me what you.
I'm a fake.
Go deeper in that.
The reason I'd say that, I would say this. I don't think that this hair over here is like, oh, I'm hair number 431. And then this one right around here, you can kind of see in the right light. That's like gray hair number 12. You know, like, it's like, I don't think that they're saying all that. Like, I think that the same way that my blood cells are not like blood cell number 431 or number 263, like, it's like, it's part of me, right?
Right.
And I think that
we're the Christ consciousness of like the structure of it.
I don't even know the structure of it. It just kind of, I don't know. I don't know why it just, I don't, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that I would rather use the verbiage personally. I'm not telling anyone else what to do. It resonates more with me to say I'm a part of a God rather than I am a God. Does that kind of make it? I don't know if that's a important distinction for anybody else, but for me, I think that that's kind of the way I look at it, is like, I think that the same way that I don't view my blood cells as separate from me, it's a part of who I am. I think that we're all blood cells. Does that make sense? I think we're saying the same thing. I think we're saying
100%. We are a fractal pattern of God that is already connected to the source of everything that ever was and ever will be. Like, from my perspective, and this is the way that I internalize it as of right now, based upon my studies, is that our soul is God, our physical bodies are God, all of it is God. It is part of God, right? And we're having these individual God experiences to then develop and have aspects of creation. Like, we come here to be creators, like to create our own version of reality in our own fractal pattern of some of God.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, 100%.
All the other bump into each other, bump into all these other
right, and we're not separate from God. This is and if you look
part
at
of this whole incredible system.
If you look at scripture, the word sin, if you look at the actual like root of the word, it means separation from source and to miss the mark. So every time we go and mess up and we miss the mark and we come down here, we are God, and then we come down and separate ourselves from God. But the illusion is that we're separate, but we're never separate.
We're always together.
Yeah. And I think this is the root of the unworthiness patterning that we find with everyone, is that we forget that we are part of God, that we are God, because we're separated in this matrix that gives us the illusion of separation from our brothers and sisters in God, because we're all the same.
And everybody has like money, we're attached to work, we're attached to all this.
To find that wholeness, that completion, that perfection, spiritual perfection through the work we do. But really, paradoxically, we are already whole. It's like I said, it's a reality of mirrors.
Yeah. And I think that's, again, like, there's definitely with every religion, spiritual belief or practice or whatever, there's always like maybe it's certain people, maybe it's certain people's interpretations, but there's always kind of like this guilt and shame. So like when it comes to this kind of stuff, when you're talking about sin, people are like, oh, I'm a sinner. I should, so what? I'm supposed to feel guilt. I'm supposed to feel shame. You know, am I supposed to confess? Am I supposed to, lash myself on the back or what? And it's like, no, actually, like, if you read, if you actually, you don't even have to read the Bible. If you just think, if you had a creator that loved you, would they motivate you with like negative things like guilt and shame and lack of worth? Do you think that they would motivate you like that? Do you ever remember your favorite teachers doing that? The people that really helped you out in life, did they motivate you with guilt and shame and feeling bad. No, like it's always like and we were talking about that earlier of just like congratulating you along the way. Like no, that's not what I think. Like I know there's a different entity that motivates people through blackmail, guilt, and shame. And I think that's kind of like a demonic side. I don't think that's who I would like to pray to or worship or whatever, however you choose to act or behave. But like, it's, I think that the idea is like, to motivate through that kind of positive, like I like the aspect of love thy neighbor and then love yourself like
Right.
you love your neighbor. Like the idea is like, you are the church, right? Your body is the temple. And so love it,
Right.
like treat it well. You don't have to, you're a lot more worth it. And so I love that kind of message that you guys consistently bring. That's kind of like the thing that really does, I think, empower people the most is just being able to say it and say it enough times where like you actually start to believe it and think it more like uh like to create that neurological pathway to reinforce that thought pattern. Because every single time we choose to say, oh, I hate my life, oh, my life sucks, fuck, kill me now, like all these things you say, it's like you really are just kind of keeping yourself in that loop and probably dragging other people into it as well.
I was looking at the frequency scale of like consciousness and emotions, like with the David Hawking scale. So like authenticity, enlightenment is like 7 to 1,000. I don't know if it's hertz frequency. It's like one of the highest. The lowest frequency is 20, and it's shame.
Right.
And it's fascinating how shame is tied to most church, most religion, right? The box of let's shame people, let them play. Like it's just crazy to think of the numbers being so small that like that's a massive control mechanism. And I think people just need to recognize that. And if you can't recognize that, then you probably do that to others because you do it to yourself.
Yeah, there's the part where they're going to stone the woman. And then Jesus says, let he who, well, no, he says, let he who hasn't sinned cast the first stone. And everybody's dumbfounded because it's like, oh, wait, all of us kind of have a spot up there. You know what I mean? There's the other verse where it's like, how can I point out the splinter in my brother's eye when I have a log in mine?
Exactly.
Right? Like, it's like, oh, maybe the idea is like, I should look at how that's like an aspect of who I am. When I want to scream at the person who stops their shopping cart in front of me when I'm trying to walk and they just stop and check their phone and I want to push their cart out of the way or yell at them. These are problems I have to deal with, but that's, like or yell at someone in traffic or yell at someone at work. I like that was one of the things I struggled with a lot was my temper, dealing with that, like that anger and just kind of thinking I could control other people consistently. Really is.
Have we ever heard of NLP? Like, is NLP? It seems like it's getting bigger in Canada. Neuro-linguistic programming. Have you like a lot of people will do an NLP course before they go get a job or some kind of job interview. It's pretty big in Europe.
Is it?
Bigger than the US.
I had to look it up, but I think that it's just maybe called a different thing, or I think it's just kind of I think they just kind of there's a growing consciousness understanding because to my understanding, the neuro-linguistic programming is really like what we're talking about. It's like the way that you speak, the way that you think is going to shape how you see the world and then interact with it. Is that right? Is that a good kind of summary?
Exactly. 100%.
And I think that that's kind of just like, I think it's just kind of something that the general consciousness is becoming more aware of. I think that the closest thing that we would have in our like quote unquote medical industry would be like cognitive behavioral therapy is very similar, I think.
It is. It's very
but
similar.
that would be like a type of therapy that our government medical system could provide you. You could go through that. Yeah.
It's still effective in many ways. Yeah.
You'd have to beg for it because they'd give you prescriptions first.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
But sorry, I want you guys to be able to go talk a bit more about it.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's freedom, really. And, going back to ancient Egypt and different places around the world, as a young boy or girl in the old system, you would be taught the power of the spoken word. I mean, that's why in the Bible it says, and God said, "Let there be light." That's giving us a symbolic representation of how powerful our language is. Let there be light. He's uttering it into reality and creating it with the frequency and vibration. And we know that quantum physics backs this up, that everything in this reality is based upon frequency and vibration. That's what's holding it all together, right? And string theory, and what you focus on, it spans, and what you speak about, you bring about. So, we haven't been taught that. And so literally it's allowing us to take back our power and learn this nuance with language of how to, first and foremost, how do we effectively communicate with ourselves? I know personally, I used to have a really negative internal critic that was casting spells and hypnotically suggesting to my unconscious mind that I wasn't worthy of the life that I wanted. So poof, your wish is my command. And then how do we, once we change that, we can those parts of ourselves that are a negative critic, they actually are trying to help you be successful. That's an interesting thing. It's just running off an old program of trauma, terrible training, lack of understanding. And so once you retrain that internal advocate for yourself, you can create success very quickly because you're supporting yourself with the internal coach inside. And the other part is, how do I effectively communicate and enroll people in the possibility of their own greatness? How do I sell them into an idea that's going to serve them at a deeper level? And then the patterning part, so that's the language piece, but the patterning is, how do I repattern the unconscious mind to get rapid transformation? And so that's why I say it's ultimate freedom, because then you can take back your power that paradoxically always was inside. And one of the people they modeled for neurolinguistic programming was Dr. Milton Erickson. And Dr. Milton Erickson was a fantastic hypnotist, right? So part of it is hypnosis, language, different modalities that create success. And he said that the client will come to you because they're out of rapport with their unconscious mind, and their unconscious mind has everything inside of them to be successful. They just have forgotten. Again, this is a remembrance. They've forgotten that they have the power.
Right, the subconscious, the non-conscious.
The non-conscious mind.
Could you say that again? Has lost rapport with their subconscious mind. Is that what you said?
Yeah, people have lost rapport with their unconscious mind. They don't realize that there's a connection between their consciousness and their unconscious mind, and we have given away our power. We've given away the communication between the two.
It's like this. It's real simple. It's like, this is a super cool way of looking at it. This is the subconscious, unconscious mind. I like to call it the unconscious because it breathes us at night, right?
It's 95% of what runs our behaviors, our emotional reactions,
then you have the
reality.
5%. The conscious mind is the 5%. This is the critical wedge.
Right.
So this is that mechanism that's like that safety, survival protection is like, it keeps us safe. It keeps us alive.
It also distinguishes between reality and unreality, right?
It literally is a protection mechanism. But then when you try to say positive
affirmation
things,
I'm powerful, I'm
strong,
worthy, and it's like, it's not going in.
And then because your conscious mind goes, I don't believe this shit.
Yeah.
Right. But you have that negative self-talk. Well, that's really releasing this negative self-talk through hypnosis and these techniques so that the unconscious and the conscious can integrate.
Right. Like when you integrate the conscious and the unconscious, we say the unconscious mind is the goal getter. The conscious mind is the goal setter. So when you have the engine and the driver together, that's where magic happens.
Right. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I've always kind of said it like, I always tell myself, especially when I was younger, I started reading, I started getting these affirmations. I was like, I didn't believe it yet. And I would tell myself these things. And the way that I view it now is like, I would tell myself, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I used to write that at the end of I used to journal every day. Now I kind of just do it when I feel stressed or I have to sort my thoughts out. And at the end of my journal entry every single day, I used to write, I will be a happy and successful entrepreneur. I used to write that every single day.
That's so cool.
And I just, I would write it and I wouldn't even believe it. You know what I mean? Like I literally,
the wedge.
And I wouldn't even believe it. I would just write it down every single day. And I realized the reason I didn't believe it, you know what it was? I didn't have proof. I didn't have any proof.
So that's the wedge.
That's because
So somewhere along the lines, perhaps you adopted, and you're free of this, by the way, that you're a realist, that you need the physical material proof. So I have to see it before I believe it type
what
of
everybody
mindset.
says, right? Society says, I'll see it when I believe it. Yeah, I hear you.
And it is a reality. However, if you adopt the idea that you can believe it, then you see it, then you're working in the quantum realm. It's the difference between physics and quantum physics. And so, yes, there is a physical reality, but if you get in the quantum realm, you realize that my entire body is all energy. Like you could boil down all of the matter of the universe into a size of a pea. Everything that is holding it together is frequency and vibration, which your thoughts are frequency and vibration. Your words are frequency and vibration. Your emotions, energy and motion is frequency and vibration. So if you can tune into the space of abundance and cast it down to reality, you can shape reality.
It'll just come back to you because you create it.
Yeah, we just have the illusion that we're in the material world, which it is material. It's a paradox. It's material and energy at the same time. There's not one or the other.
Yeah, that's why we thought we think has an influence on the body, and the body has an influence on our environment, so we can create the reality. But if we feel like shit all the time, then we can't create what we want because that's a vibration.
And then the world will prove it back to you because you will literally find things in your life to reflect back what you're focusing on and vibrating at.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the science of communication too.
Right.
There's also a bigger piece to.
But that's, by the way, the realist type of paradigm that has been installed by, and this is the premise of medical system, which is like your only physical body versus like the quantum healing paradigm that you can shift your energy in your body. This is what Dr. Joe's doing with people, massive hypnosis through visualization process. People are having these miracle healings. This is not a miracle. This is tapping into our innate ability. We all have that ability.
Yeah.
Right? Should we just do?
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't even know maybe if the way I put it or the way I think about it is a good thing, but I just know that it is something that it works in both ways, because once you start seeing proof, then the affirmation actually does work, I think. And I don't even know if writing it down for like a few years every single day, not believing it, I don't know if that helped. I don't know if it was just like staying in the game longer and being like, oh, I can get through this. Oh, this is like a issue I've dealt with before. I know how to handle it now. Oh, I know, like, I don't have to get frustrated. Or sometimes it's going to be like, fuck, I'm going to have to eat the cost of this. You know, whether it's financially or.
I think it helped.
Like, I
believe it or not, I think writing it down for so many years, you were programming your subconscious to go through this, right?
Cognitive dissonance is when, like, we do this every time we set a goal, right? Is that you are visualizing and you're writing down, you're feeling it, you're saying it out loud. Your body and the environment hasn't caught up to that frequency and vibration, but it will eventually, should you choose to continue on that path. This will make it faster, right? If you adopt the belief, if you come from the presupposition that what you believe to be true will become reality, you can choose to change your beliefs and have it come to you now. Does it make sense?
100%. Yeah.
Release.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's what I think what I'm trying to say is, I think, I don't know. I think it's sometimes like, for myself, like I just feel like I need to see it and for myself to believe it. That for me to, because then once I
realize it.
Yeah, because then once I see the proof, like I like another perfect example, I like to give visual examples, is like I would always say the words. I would say, I've always been a husky guy. I've always been a bigger guy. I never even thought I could have abs. You know, I literally I would tell myself it's not possible. It's not who I am. And I like 21 or no, actually 18. I had a six pack for the first time. And I actually remember I would look at myself in the mirror and still tell myself I was still like, oh, I'm husky. Oh, I'm big. And someone else had said, yo, you have abs. Because I had started like training. I started eating better. I started just like taking myself a little bit more seriously. And, it was the first time I had actually applied myself. I was one of those kids that I thought, if I'm going to fail at something, I'd rather not look like I tried that hard. So I never tried hard in anything. So I never succeeded at anything. And I was in this paradox all my life. And like that was one of the first things that at 18, looking back at it, where it was like the first time where I was like, oh, like I've actually been telling myself this thing and it's not actually true. You know, I can't, this thing is possible for me. This thing is. And so once I saw that it was, then I start believing in the affirmation more. And then the affirmation starts working. So I agree with what you're saying. It's so hard for me, I think, to just start to believe something. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Some people's belief system is what knocks them out of the game already from the beginning. It's like they literally stop at the starting line.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's a big thing of what 2020, people had people themselves in fear of, do they believe they need something outside of them to heal them? Or can they just have a belief system that your immune system's strong, your body can heal itself, your subconscious mind? If you're talking to it properly, right? If you're communicating it with this beautiful vessel, if you're positive, loving, and healthy to it, it will work and work as it should. So many people are so negative and like, oh, I can't heal myself. And so guess what the body does? It won't heal itself. Mm-hmm. Like if you talk negative and you talk shit on yourself, your body is not going to work the same. I think it's fascinating. Some people talk they talk nicely to their car, right? If it's an older car, they'll be like, come on, baby. Get up this hill. Oh shit. This 1996 wagon. Yeah. You know, they talk nicer to their fucking car than they do their body. And I'm like, well, you can't expect it to fight off dis-ease if you're talking shit to yourself.
Right. And one of the things I did this last year, and we're in the process of doing this, you know, a lot in ourselves, is we're evaluating all our beliefs. So one of the beliefs we hold to be true is that even a positive belief can be limiting because you don't know what's possible. Mm-hmm. And so we've been evaluating if we have infinite possibilities and all the things that we can do as these superhumans connected to source intelligence and all the things, having this a cosmic experience and a reality that reflects back what you believe to be true. Let's play with it. So let's see how we can upgrade our belief systems and see how quickly reality shifts and changes. And some of it doesn't happen right away, and some of it happens really fast. And so having fun with it, and like, who cares if it doesn't come true? But if I have this infinite possibilities, what more things am I going to start attracting in my life? And who cares if it doesn't come true right now? If we're coming from a place of fun, play, and like, how cool can we make this reality?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah.
And we need to be stuck to this old system.
I mean, you know,
it works, right?
You know this, Mark, with remodels, like you have to see it.
Yeah.
Because the client can't see.
Yeah.
Right. And let's just take a framed up house. You see the remodel done, so you believe it before you actually see it. And that's what most clients can't do, right? They can't see their house completely painted different, completely remodeled kitchen. So deep down inside, you actually do believe it because you already see, well, I've done this fucking hundreds of times, right? Thousands of times.
I'll give you an example. So when we were living in Austin, Texas, one of the things I wanted to manifest was riding on a private jet. I had done that in my past life and sex work and all that stuff. I wanted to do it in a conscious way with my divine partner. And so we would go on the trail and we go in Barton Springs, and I would be thinking about like and feeling the emotion of like what it would feel like to be on a private jet, sipping champagne, like having like all the luxury experience. So what do you know? We end up attracting it with a friend of our multi-millionaire doing training and life coaching in the field. Girlfriend of ours invited us to come on this journey when we went to Tulum, and we had this incredible experience, the best food, the best service, the best place, the private jet, all of it taken care of. And we're at the beach at the end of the event with this beautiful woman, and she goes around the room asking like, okay, so what's your experience like? I mean, 0 to 10 and all of it.
Like how good is your life
cool is your life
right
now?
And we're all like 9.5, 10, 11. Some people said 12, right? So where's your life at right now, Mark? 0 to 10.
I would say probably like today, how I feel.
Uh-huh.
I'd say like an 8, 9.
There you go.
So ours is like solid 9, 10.
Right.
I love my life.
I love my life.
And then she goes, what if it was just a 2? 0 to 10.
Yeah.
Our 8s, our 9s, our 10s. What if it was really just a 2 out of 10?
And then when you grow up more, and she didn't say this, it's just the way I think of it.
We have from 2 to 10 that we
Right.
don't even see.
We don't even see what's possible.
Because we're thinking so in this matrix box, right? Isn't that fascinating?
Then when you get another 10, you normalize that 10. And then what if it's just a 2 again? And again, and again, and again, and again. So like what is possible that we're not aware of, or where we're not choosing to stretch our consciousness to believe to be true?
Which is why we like to say God's in potential, because in so much shit we miss, right? The human experience, right? We have this entire circle, but really all we see out of that circle to the middle is just a thin line because of our
5 senses, our perception.
Because our 5 senses are limited for
well, some of us are having the gifts come back online.
And now we've got intuition coming online, right? If I don't know if you've ever done plant medicine, but like a lot of people are into plant medicine, right? And
I've done mushrooms a few times. I kind of am a pothead, so like
Teacher, Santa Maria.
So, dude, the ancient Egyptians, they did cannabis. There was like the thing that we're learning is they had psychedelics in the wine. They did these cannabis, they had these cannabis.
Yeah, it was ergot, right? Ergot.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of crazy stuff. Blue Lotus.
Psychedelic.
Oh, yeah.
We also found in the wine bottles, it was LSD.
That's what we believe. So we're going to Chichen Itza, Tulum, and then Lake Atlan in November this year, and then Egypt. And so we have this beautiful man, Miguel, down there that is kind of a mentor to us. And he's not a shaman, but he just knows the history of Maya and how beautiful it is. And there's like 3,000 to 4,000 pyramids that we haven't even discovered.
Oh, yeah.
All through the Yucatan, right? The Yucatan. And that's what the Cosmic University was. That's what Chichen Itza was. That's what Palenque and all these beautiful places down in Mexico, it was like
adjacent to like the Library of Alexandria, right?
The Cosmic University, what it means to us is like literally the way we think of school and university, but not just learning and writing and trying to get some degree. You were learning astrology, astronomy, numerology, symbology, breathwork, meditation. You were trying to get embodiment so that you could create coherence. And if you could create coherence in the body, activating your chakras, probably with some plant medicines at some point. I'm sure that was part of the recipe, or at least the protocol.
They have that.
But the whole point was ascend and like figure out this technology to the fullest so that you could either portal somewhere.
I mean, that's what Jesus was doing.
You could tap into some kind of alternative consciousness dimension that you could go somewhere, whether it was in the brain, in the mind, or actually physically there. Which I believe what Egypt was doing is they were tapping into such a vibration and frequency that you could go into the pyramid and you could portal to a completely different star system, and then you could come back. And they actually found this in the late 1800s, early 1900s in Egypt, kind of switching gears, in this box, in the sarcophagus box. It's like a crystal quartz. They found powdery substance, and then they saved it in the early 1900s until they could test it. And it was a powdery residue from the pineal gland. So can you imagine you're laying in this box and they vibrate this box at such a frequency in this. And I'll tell you, the pyramid, as far as the King's Chamber, is perfection. Like how we could do this with blocks and stack stones, and there's no paper. Like you just go, we didn't fucking build this.
Most people,
we can't do this now with commercial contractors that can build skyscrapers, right? We're like, we still can't build and lift some of these blocks with cranes that are just up and down.
Most people don't realize that the Egyptians were some of the first Christians. So there's Christian Coptic churches that actually, the tradition is that Mother Mary and Jesus lived there for a while he was going to Ascension School. So Egypt was an Ascension School, as well as the Maya land was an Ascension School. And so, like, for an example, it's so misunderstood, and this is another mind virus from my perspective that has been implanted, is there's a divine feminine as well as divine masculine. In Chichen Itza, they say that they were killing babies and women and all this stuff, which he said. He's gotten the oral tradition from the elders of the Mayan people that is absolutely ridiculous. Where you see all the skulls, that is the 7 or 5 levels of initiation through the different levels of the ego to then become looking at the mind. And this is Egyptians as well. The whole purpose of all the ascension is so that we look through our heart consciousness, just like Jesus. compassion and love. He was a representation of one of these initiates. Heart-centered, compassionate beings.
Right. And I believe that the Mayans, the ones that were doing a lot of these sacrifices, they're the more recent.
That was later.
Within the last, say,
Misunderstood.
200 to 300 years, maybe 500 years. And then the Mayans were like 600 and beyond from now, like older.
Right.
Have you guys, you know Chuck Palahniuk, the guy that wrote Fight Club? Have you read the book or heard of the book he has called Adjustment Day? There's a part where he talks about that, and
Really?
yeah, he not in that way, but he talks about how all these ancient cultures, we demonize them, and we see these pictures of them. There's like and again, Chuck Palahniuk, he's the guy that wrote Fight Club. So I don't know if you've watched the movie or read the book,
right.
But he's he's a wild guy, the guy that writes the stories like that. But he basically says, like, in that book, and I don't know if this is what he believes or he was just writing it, but he was like writing that, people demonize those pictures. We go, oh, they're sacrificing humans. And in his book, he explains, like, no, these are the first cultures to start to do like brain transplants. And they were actually more medically advanced than we are, scientifically advanced than we are. They went down a different path than we went. And so we go, oh, you don't have electricity? You're a primitive idiot. But these people were doing things medically, spiritually, and agriculturally that were more advanced that we do now. We think monocrop agriculture is the way to go. And I live right on the back of, you were talking about farms. I live right on the back of the city that I live in here is a suburb of Vancouver, and half of the city is farms. It's all berry farms, cranberries, blueberries. Like it's just straight up berry farms for, like, I live right on the back. It's like my backyard, a fence line, and then the farms. And it's just
most of it organic.
Oh, hell no, dude. They spray it, man. There's planes flying all over here all the time. Yeah. But yeah. But we think like, oh, and again, I know people that work on the farms. I love our local farmers. I'm not talking shit about them.
Sure.
I want people to understand that, especially if they listen to this, because they're my friends. But we're told, hey, for 7 miles, we use kilometers here, but I'll just use miles for fun. Like for 7 miles by, I don't know, 4 miles, I don't know how many acres that is, but for miles upon miles upon miles, we're just going to grow berries, like some blueberries, maybe corn, and cranberries. And that's the way we're supposed to do it. When really it's like, we should probably all have a little bit of a garden that grows a little bit of stuff for ourselves. But B,
absolutely,
like if you look at like ancient agriculture, this idea that monocrop like we're just going to plow a fucking whole forest down and then just grow soybeans, like that's, or whatever it is. Like, it's like, no, farms are supposed to be like a ecosystem, dude. You're supposed to have animals there interacting, and they're fertilizing the ground. They're eating off the grass and fueling these things. And I'm a dumb carpenter. I can't explain it, but I know that what we have right now is not the way to, and I'm not trying to suggest like, I don't, that I have a solution. I don't think you have to have a solution for someone's relationship to point out an area where it's like, you shouldn't hit her. That's kind of fucked up. I don't have a solution for you, but this right now is fucked up and should stop. Right.
Probably not working.
So and it's just even took.
And not to knock the farmers, because I'm passionate in this area. Like,
God bless them, dude. I need them. You do.
And he also comes from DuPont.
My dad and my grandfather came from DuPont Agrochemicals, and after World War II, we were sold a bill of goods of the war. After we used all these chemicals overseas in war, we came back and we said, now the war is on insects, pesticides, and weeds. So that's
pattern emerging about the.
So there are these
on insects, war on terror, war on COVID. So
and listen, you got literally Egypt. You got big Egypt. Egypt's huge, but you get to see these beautiful little farm, little families. Right, they're farming small plots. Some of it they've already burned it and the charcoal's there, some of it they're harvesting. I mean, plots like the size of a lot of a house, right? And even that, the size of a house is like chopped up into different smaller phases of where the crop is being harvested.
So good.
And it's real wheat.
Yeah.
And we don't have real wheat here in the US. We have disgusting, our food is awful. We truly have poisoned fucking food. And like for any farmer, I just want to like say this, you don't need pesticides and chemicals on your crops. And then you're going to go, oh, but Brandon, the weeds are going to get out of control. That's Mother Nature's way of responding to bad soil, period. And if we keep doing this, it's only going to get worse. So regenerative agriculture is like putting the manure back in, putting the organic matter back in, the lime, the gyp, some of the stuff that's natural organic material. It's supposed to be in our soil. Our hydrogen is completely destroyed. It's depleted. And so, when you look at France and you look at, we love going to Paris because I just eat like a pig when I go over there.
It's so good.
I eat like a pig here, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but the bread in France, man, oh my God. In Paris, especially the croissants, dude, it's like crack to me.
Hey, so sorry, keep going.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, have you guys heard of terrain theory? Are you guys in on terrain theory? Anyways, never mind. Sorry, I don't want to off-rail this any longer or anymore. But I've been trying to convince people that germs and viruses aren't real. But the way that you just talked about soils and weeds and that's the response to a negative soil, I believe that about the human body as well. I think that's what
on this conversation.
We need bacteria. We need viruses. We need germs.
We already active in our.
I don't even know if they're real, dude. I go that far. I don't even think they're real, dude. I think that like illness and sickness, I think is the same way that you explained weeds to bad soil is
epigenetics.
Yeah,
it's a body response.
It's a frequency. You guys should Google that. Look into terrain theory because that's it's basically the way that you explained that with weeds to soil is
so if you're tasking, we'll look that up, but look up German new medicine. Same thing.
German new medicine.
New medicine.
Yeah.
NEW.
So it's one of the healing paradigms we use in our
So like cancer is not real.
Right.
Cancer is not real.
Yeah, I don't believe in any of it, dude.
Cancer is not real. Like people are so freaked out.
I'm your guy.
Do you know so like one example of thousands, a lot of women, when they go on, Cancer Clear to Lead, anyone listen to this, but if a woman goes through divorce or something gets like a nest conflict, loses the house, fighting over the kids, loses a child, a lot of women will acquire breast cancer because think of metaphorically, the child is ripped from her breast, ripped from the nest.
Right. Oh.
And that's why it happens. It's everything in the body that plays out with organs, skin, tissue, muscle, face, hair, everything.
So there is
80% emotional.
What are your thoughts on how many men get prostate cancer then?
It's territorial conflict.
It's also an instant.
My dad had it. Older men, you're getting what? Pushed out of the corporate environment. The young wolf comes in. The new young buck comes in to take the job. So that's one issue is corporate business career, right? Feeling ousted of your business. The other is your wife is looking at older or younger men. And so for some men, if their wife is really hot and she's interested in these young guys and he can't get it up anymore, that's going to create a territorial conflict.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm so glad I asked that. Actually,
ED is a similar thing. ED is a very similar erectile dysfunction, is a similar thing.
Again, and so we're not saying cancer isn't real. We're saying that what we think it is perhaps not what we think it is, right? And it also has to do with environmental toxins. So it's emotional thoughts and toxins from your emotions, your thinking, your belief systems, the traumas and dramas, but then also the physical aspect of environmental toxins, right? And so like that as a whole totality is what's causing people to have dis-ease, which is a body out of ease.
Let me repeat that. Cancer is real, but cancer is like ADHD.
Or autism or any of these things.
It's a fucking box that we put a label on it, right? So just when people are, but my dad died. Like, yes, my father died in 2022 of prostate, actually. So I know.
But he shot with the chemotherapy.
And we also did the negative stuff. We also did holistic stuff.
But he didn't believe.
But he had PTSD from Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had stories that my dad never talked about. So he had PTSD from Vietnam, which is majority of the issue. And he also had heavy metals from spraying fucking chemicals.
Living in Fresno, California, where you're breathing in glyphosate.
Yeah. My dad was a chemical guy. Like my dad was a scientist that knew how to create these chemicals, right? So it's like, of course, he's going to be dealing with that shit, spraying it in the fields, airplane, tractor sprayers, like all the things, right?
Oh, dude, just working in construction. Imagine like how many times I'm like sniffing glues or paints or, you know, like solvents,
all the shit,
treated lumber, and you're cutting it and breathing it in. Because it's like tiny little particles or asbestos or
but
you
also stay
name it.
resilient too, right?
I 100% agree. Yeah, I 100% agree.
I mean, if we truly
if you're in constant, so this is the thing, this is where our minds are getting hijacked. So you're watching these shows and these videos and the war on terror and the war on the drug, whatever. Like, by the way, a negative thought, nocebo effect is a real thing. So placebo effect, right? You take something and you think it's real, you heal. We go to the inversion of that. So nocebo can actually kill you, and they have so much science to back
this is where I think the negative installations.
Yeah.
Like I know people like everything in California. You guys probably have it too. You know, you go to
we are California. We're gayer California. Sorry, Canadians. And I'm not saying, you know, it is what it is. I love you guys. I love everybody, but that's what we are.
I love it.
That's
I'm laughing at it because I think absolutely right. Actually,
there's some great things about California. We love it. It's such a beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's what we are.
Correct. Yeah.
I know it's kind of funny when you hear Joe Rogan go on a rant, right? And he's just like dogging on it because he lived there for so long. Like,
we love California.
But like everywhere, like it's like prop this, you know, wood causes cancer, wood materials, cancer cancel. Like you pick up a pack of cigarettes, you look at some disgusting deformed human on the box. You're just like, what is this?
You have
everything is an installation. Like people don't realize that the installations are actually worse than the actual thing they're trying to keep you from. That's the truth. Lungs, by the way, when they talk about lung cancer, it's fear of death.
Yeah.
Doctors will give us a diagnosis. You'll say, you have XYZ to live. Then all of a sudden you go, your immune system just like got literally punched by a fucking UFC fighter. And you're literally emotionally, spiritually, energetically taking that punch because you heard you have XYZ to live. And then the lungs, they go, oh, it metastasizes, it spread to the lungs. The reality is it's fear of death, fear of drowning, fear of suffocating, fear of not being alive. And that's what the lungs is. That's your breath, right? Life force energy, mana. You ever done breath work?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'm big on it, dude, because I was a mouth breather for a long time. And so I had to get a surgery actually to fix my nose. I don't know if you can see, it's still pretty crooked, but I had some deviated septums.
Oh, deviated septum, yeah.
Yeah. You can kind of see with the light there, but I'm not a fashion model in that way. But I had to fix my nose up to get it just so I could breathe out of it. And it's still probably like 70%. But yeah, dude, I've had to do, I don't know, you guys have probably read the book Breath by James Nestor. It's all about the way that we breathe shapes our skull, shapes the way our brain's going to work, shapes our nervous system. It's so insane, dude. But I think about it all the time again in a real world application. Like when I'm at work, I wear every hat, dude, you know, like that's kind of the way that it works when you do a small family business. But like to give a funny small example, when I have to focus, like if I'm doing like a line of paint, like along someone's wall and I got to focus, I always find myself habitually like
holding the breath in.
Exactly. Yeah. So then I think like, why is my hand shaking? Why is I have to redo this? So I have to redo that. When I actually just consciously like, okay, let's just breathe through your nose and just breathe normally. Just like, it's a weird thing to tell yourself to just breathe normally, but when you do, you're like, oh, this way is way easier. Why was I stressing? Like, what the fuck? And it's crazy how just holding your breath will make you stress. So I 100% agree with what you're saying. Like that is, it is something that, but I get accused all the time of being like that Joe Rogan fanboy, even though I don't listen to him that much, but because I talk about jujitsu a lot. And that's one of the things that I really love about jujitsu is when you are getting choked, if you train with like decent guys that are like regular good human beings, you like the second you tap, they're gonna let go. So it's kind of become an interesting kind of exercise where you just kind of get, again, it's cliche, but like comfortable in those areas of like, I can't breathe, or maybe my arm's in trouble, maybe my leg's in trouble, maybe they're attacking my knee, because it's all about joint manipulation. But to just kind of, there's a lot of times where you tell yourself, oh, I got. But you maybe could have lasted 5 more seconds, or could have moved in a way that you could have gotten out, or could have done this, or could have done that, or maybe you didn't know there was only 2 seconds left and you could have lasted 5 seconds. So you could have made it to the end. And there's this kind of constant mental battle of like, don't give up. And you do have to be training with people that you trust, that they're going to release when you tap. But I think that's most people. I've never had that kind of bad experience where people are just being dicks. But it's kind of like you can kind of go through that. And sometimes there are. I am the staple. I get injured all the time because I'll let something carry on for far too long when I'm of the side where I need to learn the humble pie of like, this is when I should give up. I am at my limit. But there's also the other side of it where you get, and there's people that can attest to this in any sport where, you get that kind of feeling in your lungs or that feeling where you can't breathe and you're like, I'm going to quit. I'm done. I'm done. And, it is crazy how much more potential that we actually have. The same way you were talking about, what you think your 9 is could be your 2, but maybe that's your 9 right now, like that's kind of
Right.
and so you can actually expand that. But it is, I think, a lot of the time, a lot more of a mental battle than it is a physical battle when it comes to those things.
100% from my perspective.
And mental to me goes right in there with the emotional too, right? The emotional resilience, mental toughness. It's like they just they play on each other if we have more greater awareness. I think the awareness is the key. It's like we miss so much already. How can we have even more awareness of our world, internal and external?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that might even be what faith is. Like the word faith is just like, hey, I don't even believe this thing yet, but I'm just going to act like I do until it starts giving me benefits. Then I'm going to believe it more. Then I'll do it more intentionally. Then I'm going to get more benefits. Then it's like, and continuing on and on and on. Because I think like that's one of my specialties. That would be like if I could claim an autistic trait, that would be one of my specialties. Is just like, I don't even have to believe this thing. If you tell me I'll reap benefits from it, I'll fucking do it. Like I'm one of those guys where like if you say with enough confidence, I'm pretty impressionable. Like I said earlier, like I'll run through walls, like if you tell me that it would, like that's just how I am. So like I don't even have to believe I could get abs. I'll just do the things until it works. Or I don't even believe I can run a business. I'll just do it until it works. And it really is just like for me, what I've come to realize is just like it really is just about like who's willing to stay in the game the longest. If you just like keep going, like you only fail if you quit. Anything you can do in life, like you're gonna get speed bumps, you're gonna hit roadblocks. If you just decide, this is who I am, this is what I do, you're gonna do those things. And I think that that's kind of where we align the most.
Right.
Well, dude, I think it's super powerful you're having these conversations in Canada. Like, I really think it's brave and seriously courageous what you're doing. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that we are, I don't think I'm brave, to be honest, but I thank you for that. I am bad at receiving compliments sometimes, but I appreciate that. But I think...
Shut up and receive that.
Just take it.
Just fucking take it, bro.
Love you. Love you. Thank you. Love you. Thank you.
Sure. But like it's a big thing. Like I think like this is what's happening on our planet right now. It's not just, it's everywhere. The people are waking up. People are like,
yeah, I do share a lot of... It is funny and sometimes because I do share a lot of memes, and then you hear about in Europe and even in Canada here, people are going to court, or in Europe going to jail for what they share online. And I look at that, I go, yo, if they saw my group chat, dude, my FEMA camp number or my fucking, I'm done for, dude. I am gonna be in the thought police jail so fast, dude.
Brandon, can you bail me out?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's
reality.
yeah. Well, I'm praying for the U.S. because actually, my girl's dual citizen, so that's our backup plan. If it gets too dystopian here, we're heading down south. But it oh,
bro.
yeah, we will for sure. I don't know how much time you guys have, or if you guys want to wrap this up or want to talk about anything else, but I want to give you the opportunity, like if we haven't talked about anything, or if you want to plug anything that we didn't talk about. And again, like I could go on for hours with you guys.
All day.
Yeah. But I just want to kind of give you guys the floor. Just if there's anything that I didn't allow you the space for.
Yeah, so it just depends on where people want to start. We have an online program which is teaching the basics of NLP. So that's a really cool way from the comfort of your own home to be able to learn the power of the spoken word. We also have in-person retreats. One of the cool things about living in Utah is that we have incredible nature. And so we incorporate nature with biohacking and transformation and just have this incredible community out here as well. And then we do destination retreats like Tulum in Egypt. So it just depends on how people want to plug in, and it's really design your own adventure.
I think I want to say for people that are like, if they're trying like religious or church constructs that don't seem to be working because they know that there's something spiritually, mentally, emotionally it's not fulfilling. I think personal growth is such a place. My grandfather mentored my brother and I at 12, 11, 14 years old, like that time when my dad lost his job, and the 30 minutes a day, what that did to motivate us to go after a bike or a boombox is if we adults could do more clearing out the baggage, the limitations, the beliefs, the shame, the guilt, the anger, the shit that gets in the way. Like NLPmadesimple.com, that course, that's a first course we put together online, right? And it just starts get you thinking through your filters. If you want to be a better critical thinker, you want to make better decisions, you want to figure out why the relationship communication, so many men, we struggle to communicate in relationships. It's one of the biggest things. A lot of guys, they beat themselves up, they get in their heads, right? They talk negative to themselves, really shitty to themselves. They wonder why they gain weight, right? And I lost 40 pounds right before her and I met, like smoking weed, addicted to stuff, drinking too much, like had that story, right? And it's because I was in an unhealthy relationship, not with just my ex, but it was with myself, right? And that's what the stuff that we're doing is we're really helping people open up to the frequency and the vibration to reach their highest potential, right? And if you're struggling to find that curriculum of what that means to help you, I think the stuff that we've put together, it's changed our relationship, 13 years of it.
Yeah.
It's transformed our businesses, the way we invest money, the way we grow teams. Like it's just a really beautiful way that's not education, but it is education. I call it life school, life training. It's the kind of training you don't get in college because college wants to create worker bees.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really get it. If you do get the degree, doesn't guarantee you're going to make any real money, right? My dad.
No, it's just indoctrination camp.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of
school that you didn't get in school.
It's a cosmic university because it's a little bit of spirituality. Like we don't go like, it's a little bit of everything.
Like we include all different types of faith, right?
Faith.
There are so many paths to spirit, right? And
good stuff about
who's to say our path is better than anybody else's?
Yeah.
Whoever has a path, and keep on your path, right? So we can include it all.
If it's working, keep doing it. If
Yeah.
it's not working, be courageous and bold enough to stop and try something new.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing we say.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, dude, I've especially since I started this podcast, I've had so many conversations with people that, maybe first responders that, maybe people that do ketamine therapy, maybe people that do, energy healing, maybe people that do, they build businesses that fund these things. I don't know. I've had so many different real conversations where I hear people, they're like, these people see results. These people see results. And my philosophy has always been, I just want to hear about it all. And if it's working, dude, I'm never going to tell somebody to stop doing anything. I just love hearing about this shit, dude.
Same.
I think that like I get more value out of conversations like this than talking to a fucking
And
doctor.
the denial piece of that, which we try to help a lot of people wake up to, is like the denial piece is like if they think it's working, but then they're complaining about it not working, then it's probably not working.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's that piece too that's like in denial, and I help a lot of guys. I coach a lot of men around that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And my brother and I have an older brother in business. We do very similar work. We've got this men's group here in Salt Lake City in Utah, and it's just a great place because we're realizing men are in and out of transition. They're in and out of divorce, job, businesses they don't love anymore. So there's a lot of great connection that we're doing here in Salt Lake to connect men to just high quality men. And I think that's something that's really needed right now. Men,
Right.
brotherhood connection.
100%. I think that that's just in general, like we are a society where it's normalized to put your headphones on when you walk through the grocery store and not going to look at people, make eye contact or say hi. And it's like, maybe we do need some sort of you might not like going to church. I don't go to church all that like regularly either. But I think that maybe we do need something that like purposely we go out and intentionally connect with people because we're robbed of it. We think that, we see things and videos and pictures of people online, and then we go to the grocery store with our headphones on, fucking, just try like purposely. We've all been there where you see somebody and you're like, what?
Guilty.
Huh? I'd be like, and I think that those little moments, I've come up with this theory recently. I don't know what you guys think about this, but I think that those are little moments where the universe or God or whatever, that's a suggestion of connection, of like,
Right.
we have this tendency as human beings to resist connection, and it's weird, but connection is what we need. And I
It's
think
totally
that,
what we need.
yeah,
Community is what, like 2020, what 2020 taught us all is like connect with your neighbor, love
Mhm.
on your community, like
Mhm.
hug each other. Like we have to be in that endorphin of like these hormones, right? And these beautiful, like we've got to be connected. Like that's
fear makes you sick and love makes you better. That's like a
right.
fact.
And we
right?
love our live events, like doing retreats and doing these things that bring community together to show people what's possible, to let go of our past,
Right.
to love on each other, have new tools. Like it's truly our passion. The online game, like I love Zoom and I love the technology, right? We get to
Just have
expand,
conversations.
but like
And
I
the
couldn't
part is so
like, and we
amazing.
do a lot of videos, right? We have our own studio, but it's like, I love in-person stuff. It lights us up. It gives us the fire in our bellies to like
Visit
keep
us.
going. Yeah, dude.
Come on
I
here.
will
We
bring.
have plenty of room for you and your
Hang out, dude.
partner to come stay with us.
Sir.
Yeah,
So
we're planning on getting married this June, and then maybe we'll see if we can come down there after that. That's where all of our funds and attention are going right now. So
nice. Nice.
that's
dude.
pretty much
Let's
pretty
stay connected. Let's do this again.
Yeah.
likewise. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk all week.
One more time before we jump off. I literally could talk to you guys for hours. I got a jet though, but one more time I want you guys to anything you guys want me to share in the description, any links, and like where can people find you?
Yeah, check out nlpmadesimple.com. That's one of our kind of starter courses. A lot of people like to check that out. And then our podcast is Your True Alchemy, yourtruealchemy.com. Those are our retreats.
Which we're going to have you on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down anytime. I'm literally down anytime. And you guys have an open invitation on here as well if you guys ever want to share anything or chat or just shoot the shit like this. But yeah, I'll reach out to you guys and connect with you, and then we'll go from there. I really appreciate it, and I'm super happy that I got to chat with you guys. I'm super down for this type of conversation anytime.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mark.
Great to meet you. You're awesome.
You're awesome, dude.
Likewise. Thank you guys. God bless. Much love. Peace out.
See you.
Bye.